Good morning, y'all. This is JD. Welcome to JDB's Morning Cap. Today is Thursday, June 25th, 2026. As you are this close to the month of July, time has gone fast here in 2026. So hopefully July is going to be really good for you guys. So, what a 2-day run in the NBA draft. Right now, the NBA moves are off to a really good start. So there's a lot going on right now here in general. So we'll talk about all that in this situation. So we have a bunch to get to here today. But let's start off with breaking news out of the NBA. Before the end of the night, the Hornets are engaging LaMelo Ball about trading. But a few hours later, they agreed that LaMelo Ball is moving on. So the Timberwolves are in agreement of LaMelo Ball to be traded. So LaMelo Ball heads to Minnesota to work with Anthony Edwards, which means Kobe White signs an extension, a 3-year deal with the Charlotte Hornets. That gives a bunch of assets to Charlotte. So that's significant for them. So which means the Wolves have acquired LaMelo Ball, which means that puts Josh Green so Nas Reed heads to Charlotte Hornets and a unprotected 2033 first round pick. I'm right. And then 3 other first round pick swaps, 2028, 2029, and 2030. And 3 future second round selections. So that's how the trade went down. So it goes like this. LaMelo Ball and Josh Green heads to Minnesota. Reed and the rest of their draft picks heading to Charlotte. So let's see if I'm correct. Yeah, Josh Green heads to Minnesota along with LaMelo Ball. That puts Nas Reed to Charlotte and the rest of their draft picks. So here's my question right now. Did I like this move? Do you think LaMelo Ball gets along with Anthony Edwards? We'll get to that we'll get to I'll get one other answer in just a couple of minutes. Did I like that move? Well, it's disappointing. If you're a Charlotte Hornets, this has got to be disappointing because losing your leader in your franchise, even your team hasn't made the playoffs in all of his years. even though even though LaMelo Ball was in the play-in tournament, LaMelo did spend 2 appearances in a play-in tournament. So now LaMelo Ball, now he is the longest tenure Hornet. Actually, no, he was the longest tenure Hornet. He finished the longest tenure Hornet without reaching the postseason. It has never happened in their franchise history. LaMelo Ball becomes the first player in Hornets history to spend a longer tenure without reaching the playoffs. So that is a horrible disappointment. But I think this is the right move for the Hornets. Sorry, for the Wolves. I really like this move because it feels like these two can play together. These two can work together as a teammate. Although you're losing one guy and you add one more player, it's a big deal for Minnesota. And it's not a big deal for Charlotte because when Charlotte attempts to sign Kobe White, he expects to be an all-star for the first time in his career next year or beyond that. He's developing consistency of Kobe White. He's been consistent. That's something else you really want to learn about. And it's really hard. I can't explain anything that I have to say. I'll be back in 1 minute. So with that being said, the trade we just been talking about, it's about volume and consistency in these situations. So this could have helped a long time ago, but it actually felt pretty good about that. So let's see how they can respond to all this in this one here. All right, so let's take a look at the last night's NBA draft, round 2. So let's take a closer look at it. What went down in round 2? So it goes like this in this one. In pick number 31, the Rockets got Bruce Thornton. Round 32, the Grizzlies got Richie Saunders. Round number 33. Actually, no. Yeah, pick number 31 is Bruce Thornton with the Rockets. Pick number 32 is Richie Saunders for the Grizzlies. Pick number 33 is Isaiah Evans from Minnesota Timberwolves. Pick number 34 was Malik Thomas of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Pick number 35 was Trevon Brazile. Pick number 36, Bubba Miller, the Clippers selected in the 36th overall pick. 37th overall pick, the Heat selected Ryan Conwell. Pick number 38 was Braden Smith, the Pacers selected him. And then pick number 39 was Jack Cahill 39 overall pick of the New York Knicks. Pick number 40, the Boston Celtics select Dylan Mitchell. Pick number 41, Thunder selected Otega Owe. And then pick number 42, the Spurs select Jacoby Gillespie. Pick number 43, the Nets select Tyler Baladu. Pick number 44, the Spurs selected Malik Brown. Pick number 45, Sacramento Kings selected Emmanuel Sharp. Pick number 46, the Wizards select Felix Okpara. Pick number 47, the Knicks selected Tyler Nickel. Pick number 48, the Dallas Mavericks selected Toby Lawwell. And then pick number 49, the Nuggets selected Bryce Hopkins. Pick number 50, the Toronto Raptors select Jaden Bradley. Pick number 51, the Orlando Magic select Isaiah Nelson. Pick number 52, the Hawks selected Henry Vassar. Pick number 53, the Detroit Pistons select Ugonna Onoyesu. Pick number 54, the Warriors select LaJane Jones. Pick number 55, the Los Angeles Clippers select Nick Martinelli. Pick number 56, the Dallas Mavericks select Vesavolod Ishenko. Vizalod Isheko. Pick number 57 is Nakrisi Nagoy. The Clippers selected him. Pick number 58, Pelicans select Jaron Pierre Jr. Pick number 59, the Wolves selected Trey Kaufman-Wren. And pick number 60, the Bucks selected Malik Lewis. So, what were my thoughts on the second round? I thought the second round last night was okay. It just didn't. Isaiah Evans thought he's going to be one of the tops. But Isaiah Evans, so here are the notable original picks. Bruce Thornton was originally drafted by the New York Knicks, but it was traded to the Houston Rockets. Here's the other one. Isaiah Evans, drafted by the Brooklyn Nets, but traded to the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Kings drafted Malik Thomas, but was traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Pick number 45, Trevon Brazile. The Spurs drafted him, but they traded to the Denver Nuggets. So that's what happens. Then Braden Smith, drafted by Chicago Bulls, but traded to the Indiana Pacers. Those are the notable teams who drafted and then end up being traded. I mean, this is interesting to see what just happened and what just happened out there. But it is really hard to see. Hard to see to let him go. All right. So, who are the NBA's biggest winners? In the 2026 draft. So right now, I'm going to pick several teams who are the bigger winners. The biggest winner is got to be the Washington Wizards. And yeah, of course, they add Dibansta. They re-signed Trae Young for 4 years. And now Alex Sarr is going to be a star for this team. And now Anthony Davis, whether or not he'll stay with the team. This is a good group, pretty much. This team will be together, and there'll be more collectiveness for years to come. My second biggest winner is the Utah Jazz. Selecting Darren Peterson, I think it's best for the Jazz to work with Keontae George, Lauri Markkanen, and Jaren Jackson Jr. I think this Jazz team is going to be much better. I think this Jazz team will be better offensively. Pearson's a better defensive player, but Jazz had the worst defensive rating in the NBA last season. They finished a historical points allowed per game last year. They gave up the most points allowed in a single season in Jazz history. So hopefully the Jazz will turn it around. The offense has got potential, but the defense is really bad last year. Let's see if they can turn that around. The other bigger winner was the Memphis Grizzlies, adding Cameron Boozer. The Grizzlies just acquired Isaiah Stewart. I mean, I tell you what, this is a youthful group for the Grizzlies. Cameron Boozer, working with John Morant, seemed to be crucial. And my biggest winner is the Oklahoma City Thunder, the number 12 overall pick in the NBA draft. Dave Mara, drafted to the Oklahoma City Thunder. I thought that was a great pick. That was a great pick for the Oklahoma City Thunder. So that was my biggest winner, top 4 biggest winners of the 2026 NBA. Who are the biggest losers or snubs in the NBA draft in 2026? Well, I can pick notable biggest losers. The biggest loser of the NBA draft is the Dallas Mavericks. Why the Dallas Mavericks didn't get a Demar, a big? Because they already got Cooper Flag. That's understandable. But the Mavericks reunited a player from Michigan is actually a good thing. But I'd rather draft someone else. So the Mavericks didn't get the right picks. My other biggest loser is the Miami Heat. Despite the fact they add Giannis Antetokounmpo, and they just don't have another guard play. They don't have a front court depth situation. They don't have any staple stuff. So they say they don't see the Heat to become huge Eastern Conference contender. That's not a surprise because they don't have that part just yet. If he made one simple move, you would have a chance. My third biggest loser, is the Toronto Raptors. Actually, yeah, Toronto Raptors is the third biggest loser in the NBA draft. They need like a guard play or a ball security, a better ball security, and they didn't have that. Or they just need a bench production. But that's what happens. But that just happened because when that happened, you put yourself in a really, really prime position. And because of that, you gain yourself useful. And the fourth biggest loser in the NBA draft, that I didn't see that coming. It's definitely Chicago Bulls. The Bulls added, even though they add Caleb Wilson, that's a good pick. I'm not putting this on them. But the only thing I just don't like, the Bulls don't have any second round picks. And that's shocking because, and they also traded away Braden Smith and Cam Jones. The deal would have been much improved, but it's not. But that's what happens. What happens here? All right, let's see. Before I move on to the break, let's see who are the biggest snubs in the NBA draft. Even though there's not. So there's not that many players who are the biggest snubs, but I can surprise some people. The biggest snubs that I did not see it. This is a player who was well-rounded. He was almost a well-rounded player from Illinois. He got to a Final Four a few months ago. Kylan Boswell. Unfortunately, he didn't make the 60 draft pick cut. So he's declared undrafted. So he didn't make the cut of the NBA draft. However, he will sign anywhere. He can sign any of these 30 teams in the NBA. Just like several undrafted players who can sign anywhere. Or you can sign into G League to develop your game. The other thing I'm surprised, Milos Yazan from Houston. He was supposed to be a late round pick, but he had some floor general abilities and experience, but he fell out of the draft but remains major name watch, but he wasn't drafted, unfortunately. And then the other thing I didn't see it coming. Nick Boyd out of University of Wisconsin. He's a great player, but he struggled with his shooting. So that caused him to not drafting him. So when you're not getting your name called all 60 picks with similar teams, you won't be drafted. It's really unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. You put yourself in a really unfortunate situation because of that. Yeah, it's really hard to see. You hate to see that situation in this one here. All right, so let's move on to that. What happened to the NFL supplemental draft? We'll have to find out later what's going on in the NFL. And the Mets defense was awful last night. How many errors did the Mets have last night? Well, I'll discuss that a little bit later. And also, I'm going to ask a serious question. Who's a better female athlete? Asia Wilson of the Las Vegas Aces or the tennis star, Serena Williams? I'll answer all these questions right after this. Welcome back here. We already had breaking news in the NFL that the NFL is officially ruled out of the NFL supplemental draft this year, which means that Brendan Sorsby will have to sit out this year, which means he will be drafted next year. So Brendan Sorsby will be sitting out due to the lawsuit. What went down, it's been brewing in the last almost 3 months. So frustration's boiling over in American football. So frustration's been boiling over in college football and NFL. So here's my question. Here's my question. Did the NFL PA operations made a right decision? Was this the right move by the NFL PA to take out the no supplemental draft this year? Did they get it right? I'm going to answer my own question. Honestly, I think they got it right because right now the eligibility of the players, the money, the financial of situations like this, you put yourself in a really bad situation, or a development of financial contracts. It's difficult right now. It is absolutely difficult because it feels like Brendan Sorsby wants to be supplemental drafted, but they say this, that despite the petition of ex-Texas Tech quarterback Brendan Sorsby, they say deciding that did not have adequate time to review the details of his gambling-related collegiate ineligibility before the intended summer window. So they say that the supplemental draft serves as an alternate summer draft for players who have lost their collegiate eligibility or missed the standard draft's filing deadline. Unlike the traditional spring draft, teams make blind bids for available players, forfeiting their corresponding pick in the subsequent year's draft. So the event is held at the sole discretion of the league and does not automatically occur every year because the NFL nixed this year proceedings. Interest teams will have to wait for the traditional 2027 NFL draft to select these prospects. So, should Brendan Sorsby be undrafted next year? You're damn right he deserved to be undrafted because he hasn't played that much. As a matter of fact, Brendan Sorsby should not be drafted. He should be undrafted next year. He hasn't played a college football game in a long ass time. If he drafts any of these teams, that's a disappointment. He shouldn't. They deserve not to draft Brendan Sorsby next year. They deserve not to. He deserves to not draft Brendan Sorsby. No disrespect. I respect Brendan Sorsby, but I don't know much about him, even though I do not know much about Brendan Sorsby. However, I do respect the hell out of him, man, because it really feels like I want to support him as much as I could. I want to support him to be trustworthy. But unfortunately, man, you deserve to be undrafted next year, because for all these draft offers and all the lawsuits and all the gambling crisis, this isn't gonna stop. The accusations, the gambling accusations. I just can't. We can't draft you. They can't draft you because of the incident that happened. They shouldn't. Brendan Sorsby shouldn't be drafted next year. As a matter of fact, he could sign with a team. He could stay with the NFL if he chooses this way, or hell, he can go to UFL to work out his development of mechanics. UFL has a minor league football over there. Talk about development of the positioning players of football. UFL stands for United Football League. That's a minor league football, by the way. But that's a problem, because you put Brendan Sorsby in harm's way, and if you're not going to draft Brendan Sorsby in all 7 rounds, that is absolutely understandable. I think Brendan Sorsby should be undrafted next year. I have optimism he can sign for any of these teams. If Brendan Sorsby does not get drafted for any of these 7 rounds next year, so it's really difficult. It is really difficult because of that. It's tough to go through. It's tough to go through the whole world. You know why? You know what I'm saying? When you're putting yourself in a really bad position, that just can't happen. That just cannot happen. I'm just saying. You gotta hold your breath as much as you could. But I gotta feel bad for Brendan Sorsby, man. You have to sit your ass out for this year, and you have to wait your ass till the NFL draft. I don't think his name is going to be called at all next year. I don't give a damn how many teams you're going to sign. This is a mess. Absolutely a mess. Damn. All right, man. When we come back, the New York Mets defense is a mess. How many errors did they make last night against the Chicago Cubs? I will answer that question a little bit later. Also coming up, who is a better female athlete, A'ja Wilson or Serena Williams? I will answer all these questions right after this.
3-2 to Suzuki, and the sweeper hit on the ground is short. Runner has to hold. It's bobbled by Lindor, and Lindor commits an error on the first play he's presented with coming off the injured list.
On the lead.
Hits sharply. Semien to his left, knocks it down, still has time, and the throw is offline, and Kelly is safe. And he flies this one to shallow right. Angling in Beatty, going out is Simeon, and Simeon can't make the catch. He recovers, now drops it again, and runners are safe at first and second. 1-2 coming. Grounded to third. Backing off is Bichette, and he has trouble getting it out of his glove, and Ramirez is safe. Hit sharply, and a nice diving stop by Vientos. The overhead flip goes by the pitcher, and that'll bring in a run as Ramirez comes in to score. 0-2 coming to Kelly. And he hits it sharply at Vientos, and he boots it for yet another error. Unbelievable.
All right, so the New York Mets, disaster performance for the Mets defense yesterday. It's been a disaster performance last night for the New York Mets. The Mets commit 6 errors last night. The Mets, two of those 6 errors were Marcus Semien. And the 6 errors last night, it's been that kind of season for the New York Mets. The Mets end up losing 10-5. And the Mets lost a game 2 of the doubleheader. The first game, the Cubs beat the Mets in the first game of the doubleheader 10-3. And then the day before that, on Tuesday, the Cubs beat the Mets 9-6 in game 1 of this 4-game set. The Mets squared off the Cubs for the final time of the 4-game series. Not only the final time of the final time of the 4-game set, the final time of the 7-game season series. So far, the Mets have not won any of these games against the Cubs through 6 games. They're 0-6. The Mets have committed 6 errors in last night's 10-5 loss. 2 of those 6 were Marcus Semien. So Mets errors, all 6 errors by infielders. It's been but the Mets did hit 4 home runs last night. The Mets did hit 4 home runs last night, and 6 errors committed it. So here are the 4 Mets home runs who hit it last night. Bo Bichette hit a home run. Mark Vientos hit a home run. Francisco Alvarez hit a home run. And A.J. Ewing hit a home run. The Mets hit 4 home runs last night, and they also committed 6 errors. That's unacceptable. And the Mets chanting Pete Alonso last night. They want Pete Alonso back, but Pete Alonso is with the Orioles right now. So the Mets are on the verge of being swept by the Cubs in a 4-game series, and they're also on the verge of being swept by the Cubs in a 7-game season series. The Cubs are 6-0 against the Mets this season, as they're wrapping up this season series tonight in New York. The Mets try to get a win, avoiding getting swept. Francisco Lindor did get reinstated from the injured list last night. So you can't have a rough spot like that. You just can't. You cannot lose these games like that. Here's my question. Will the Mets make the playoffs? No. Here's my other question. Will Carlos Mendoza be fired? Yes. He won't be fired during the regular season. He'll be fired at the end of this season. You cannot trade Juan Soto. He has a big contract. You cannot trade Francisco. You could trade Francisco Lindor. It doesn't have to be at the deadline. It could be end of the season. With lockout looming, it will be lockout looming large right now. But mentionedly, the Mets need to get rid of a handful of players. No disrespect. You got to rely on their young, talented players like A.J. Ewing. Excuse me. Carson Bench. I mean, there's several guys who can get it done. But, like I said, the Mets committing 6 errors, all by infielders. 2 of them have been Marcus Simeon's linemen. And also, Mark Vientos made 2 errors of his own. So, Simeon and Vientos have combined 4 of the 6 team errors. Lindor had 1, Bichette had 1. The infielders have been disaster. The defense has struggled this year. The Mets defense has really struggled all season long. It could lead to high ERAs, could lead to big innings. The errors could lead to gigantic big innings. And that's what happens when you struggle defensively. That's a problem. That's really a problem. And the Mets are dead last in the National League East in their division. 34 and 46 is the record right now for the New York Mets. Will the Mets lose 90 games? They will not. They're still going to be last place. They'll probably go 75 and 87. They'll be better in the second half. But they're still not making the playoffs. All right. Coming up next, who's a female athlete? Asia Wilson or Serena Williams? I'll figure it out in a minute. Welcome back to JDB's Morning Cap. And we'll find out who's a female athlete. Serena Williams has 73 WTA single titles, including 23 singles Grand Slam championships. So we'll see how that. And then Asia Wilson, he has accolades of her own. Asia Wilson is a 4-time WNBA MVP, three-time WNBA champion, 3-time WNBA Defensive Player of the Year, 2-time WNBA Finals MVP, and a WNBA single-season scoring record. He's a 7-time WNBA All-Star, 2018 WNBA Rookie of the Year, 5-time All-WNBA First Team, 5-time All-Defensive Team WNBA selections, and also 2024 Olympic gold medal Women's Olympics MVP. So Asia Wilson has several accolades. So here's my question. Who is a better female athlete? Serena Williams or Asia Wilson? Asia Wilson. So I love AJ Wilson, but I gotta go with the OG, man. I gotta go with Serena Williams. I do respect AJ Wilson, but I do love Serena Williams. I like Serena Williams better. She's a better athlete. She's the best tennis. She's the best female tennis player of all time. You know how many accolades she won? Several Grand Slam titles. 23. He won 7 Australian Open. Most recent she won was 2017. She won French Open 3 times. Her most recent was 2015. She won 7 Wimbledon championships. Most recent was 2016. And then she won 6 U.S. Open titles. Most recent was 2014. And she's a 4-time Olympic gold medal. So he had several major double titles in all these years. I mean, Serena, I know she's a better athlete than that, but she's done powerful things. On and off the court, the tennis court, something like that. But same as AJ Wilson, the WNBA Las Vegas Aces, she's done on and off the court, off the basketball court too. I mean, when she's giving back, she's a future Hall of Famer, no doubt about it. And when she won 3 championships in her illustrious career, I mean, she ever knows and familiar with. But the good news is, AJ Wilson's in love with her boyfriend, Bam Adebayo, the Miami Heat star. But they've been together for quite some time. But I'll tell you what, I do respect both Serena Williams and AJ Wilson as a female athlete. You ladies are female athletes. I can tell you that. But I like Serena Williams better. No doubt about it. All right. So next week, so here's my catch. Here's my catch next week. I'll do a talk show on June 30th, July 1st, and July 3rd. And I will do some selected episodes in the month of July. I will not do JDB's World Cap all of the July, because I will take a full plus month of rest. So there's not a lot going on. However, I will talk NBA free agency. I'll talk MLB first half awards. First half doesn't end until July 12th. I'll talk about that. And then also I'm going to talk about, I think NFL trade camp is next month, so the NFL season's just around the corner. We already know that, but and I believe in you because of you. But it's really an exciting moment. July 1st is next Wednesday, by the way. So the earliest I can get a 1 month of break is possibly July 14th or July 13th. July 14th, that's when I'm probably going to take a break. And then I will return to JDB's morning cap about middle of August, sometime around middle of August, just to make sure I can get just to make sure I can get caught up with these sport topics. What did I miss this past several weeks? So I will do the talk show next Tuesday because the free agent signing expects to start next week. So who will tend to sign? We'll talk all that. We'll have breaking news and all that stuff going on. So there's a bunch of things to get to. So Independence Day is next Saturday, July 4th. So get ready to flash out your barbecues. All right. I'm done for the day. This is JDB's Morning Cap. We'll see you next Tuesday. Enjoy your, by the way, enjoy your weekend.